Hello there. I am really excited to bring you all a yes or no reading today. So we have 4 decks here. These are all tarot cards, and if you could just choose a deck that you're drawn to, I'll be giving you guys the assigned numbers for each deck in a couple seconds, and then you can go to the reading that way. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds to decide. Hello group 1, welcome to this reading. Today we're going to be talking about what kind of guidance the universe has for you in terms of making your decision, whether it's a yes or no. I want you to think about that question right now, really focus on it. Okay. I'm gonna now do build 2 decks here, and then we'll talk about what those each group means. Okay, yes or no? Is it a yes or no for group 1? Is it a yes or no for group 1? Yes or no for group 1? Okay. I want you to really think about your question right now. And what I also want to remind you is that a lot of the times, the wise self within us, the wise version of you, the higher self of yours actually already knows the answer. Sometimes when I'm really deciding, or when I'm trying to really figure out whether it's a yes or no, what I do is do a little bit of meditation and then ask my higher self for guidance, and then I can hear it and then realize that that was the answer that was deep within me at all times. So just off the bat, I want you to really think about the question, and then I'm going to give you an answer. And I'm going to ask you how you're feeling as you hear it, okay? So, I'm going to let you know, just based on these cards and the energy, that your answer is yes. The answer is yes. Now, how did you feel when I said the answer is yes? Did it feel like your heart was sinking? Or did it feel like that's exactly what I have been looking for, right? So that inner guidance, if somebody tells you that the answer is either yes or no, you'll feel it in your body. So regardless of what the cards say, I want you to listen to that little voice within you, because that'll be the most accurate, just in terms of whether you should do, whether it's a yes or no. But if you were not getting enough clarity from that exercise, we'll go ahead and see what the cards have here. So one of them is a yes, the other one is a no. Then I'm going to see what cards we have for each side. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So I think that one thing that I can say, so I obviously had no idea whether your question is about love, career, wealth, like health, family, friends. I don't really know what your question is about, but I do think that the yes is a relatively easier path forward. I'm definitely seeing more cards of sort of like difficulties and challenges and disappointment and things like that in the no portion. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to choose no, because maybe you are ready for those challenges. You actually want a more difficult path because that leads to a better outcome, right? For whatever reason. So I think the cards are saying though, if you do yes, I think you will experience maybe a bit of like self-reflection, like alone time. I'm seeing a little bit of alone time coming up here as well. Just the moon energy, the hermit card, the hanged man. So I think yes might be a more like, it's like the road less traveled in a sense. So you're doing it a little bit, you know, with a little bit of loneliness. Maybe the reason that, you know, the no portion is more challenging is because there are a lot of people. I do think that just overall also, like, I see many more people here. Like, we have like at least 2 people here, right? We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people here with an angel. We have like 8 cups. We have like 2 people. It's a little bit crowded here, which could mean that it's a choice that many more people make. That could be one of the reasons that it's challenging. But I don't think that it's giving like a super clear answer as to like whether you should go yes or no. If you want a slightly easier path, yes might be the way to go. I do see more joy here. We see the World card. We see the 4 of Wands card. There's Knight of Cups. So like emotionally, maybe you'll be a little more fulfilled. But also the Hanged Man could mean that you could potentially regret it later, or you might be sort of like, you know, meditating it, self-reflecting, and then just like think about your decision a little more. And maybe on the no side, it's a more like things are a little bit more out of your control, maybe. So there's like the Judgment card. So that's like an angel, right? The universe, God giving you something instead of you deciding on something, right? So if I were in your shoes, I do think that I would go for yes, just because it's just like an easier path. But also there's a possibility that no, if your question is about like career, job, or like success, the no card has the Ace of Pentacles card. So it could be more, you know, it could be better for finances potentially. But these are, I think, all things that you want to consider. This is, I think no does feel like a more difficult path with maybe some more disappointments, more like drama, maybe a little more intense. But there is the potential that, you know, we have the Ace of Pentacles card, which we don't have any pentacles here. We actually also have a lot of like major cards here. Like 4 of them are like, you know, major like Arcana cards, which is interesting. We have more minor cards here, I think, in comparison to that. So those are, I think, some things for you to think about. But I'm not getting a extremely clear like yes, no answer, I would say. Even though if I were in your shoes, I do prefer an easier path most of the ways. So I think yes could be the way to go with that. Let me go look at some of the oracle cards to see what you can do to make the best decisions forward. Maybe some of the values that you want, that the universe wants you to consider as you make these decisions. Okay. So we have a couple of numerology cards that I think you can consider. Self-love, moderation, and spirituality. So self-love, moderation, spirituality, I think these are all values that the universe wants you to consider. What is a decision that is more aligned with you practicing self-love, right? Maybe there are things that you really want really bad, and you are going to try to like really push yourself really hard to do that, and that could potentially lead to the Tower moment or the 5 of Pentacles moment, right? A little bit of ups and downs here. So maybe you want to be a little more moderate about it, right? That's like a little bit of like temperance kind of vibes. What's the best way for you to practice self-love as you make this decision? And spirituality, I mean, I think the fact that you're watching this video, I think, is also like, you know, letting me know that like you are probably pretty spiritual, which I think is good. But also, what are some other things that you can engage in, like, you know, praying, meditation, mindfulness practices, if you're, you know, part of a community, just being part of, you know, just continuing to engage with that, things like that. So I think those are some things that the universe wants you to consider as you make this decision. How can you practice most self-love? How can you do things in moderation so that you can practice self-love? And how can you rely on your guidance, right? Your spirituality will play a big role as you make your decisions. Let's see what other guidance we have here. Conclusions are within reach. Bring love into the situation. So conclusions are within reach does tell me that you will probably make a decision very soon. You know, whether it's your own decision or maybe the decision will be made for you. I do see that your time for this like limbo, being stuck in a limbo where you're like stuck with like being not sure what kind of decision to make, will not last forever. Conclusions are within reach. You will know, you will have clarity very soon. That's definitely, I think, what the card is saying. Bring love into the situation. Again, we have both words, like, right, love in both cards, which I think is a pretty strong message here. You gotta practice self-love. You gotta bring love into the situation. What's the most loving decision that you can make for yourself, right? I think that's actually really important for you to consider. Is this the most self-loving thing to do, or is this the most self-loving thing to do, right? I think they both have their pros and cons, and you know, the universe wants you to focus on self-love, or even loving of others, right? Loving of the world, loving of your community, love of your society, you know, your community, your family, your friends, whatever it is. Love is going to be really important as you make this decision. Okay. Lastly, I will do a couple of tea leaves here to see if you have any like last words of guidance for you if you're still conflicted, and not all of them might be useful, but let's see what they have. Broom, new home, new attitude. So maybe some of you guys are considering whether you should move out of your current place or not. You know, if that's the case, then new home and then new attitude. I think new attitude could apply. So maybe no means you get a new attitude, or maybe yes means you get a new attitude or a new situation, new home, whatever it is. So I think that could be significant for you. Stork, news of a birth or a new business opportunity, a period of ill health, depression. So I think that some of the path forward could be, you know, difficult. Maybe, you know, honestly, there's the Hermit card and there's a Hanged Man. And then we have the Tower moment here. We have the Eight of Cups. We have this card, which is, you know, the Five of Pentacles. So it is also possible that whatever decision you make, you will experience a little bit of difficulties. This is not like a straightforward like rainbow and butterflies path either. So I think either way, you know, even moving to a new home, they say causes a lot of stress, even if it's like a good thing that you're moving to a new house. So I think whatever decision you're making, it could be, you know, some difficulties ahead of you. That's probably why you're watching this video, because you are maybe already conflicted. You are maybe torn between these two things. So I think that's just like just giving you like a little bit of like affirmation on that. But it also says news of a birth or a new business opportunity. So it does let me know whether you're leaving something behind so that you have like a new birth or a new business opportunity. You know, no could mean something new, or yes could be something new as well, right? It does feel like there's a lot of new stuff that's going to happen in your life. It says new home. It says new business opportunity, new attitude. There are a lot of newness, right? So I think the major themes here is a lot of new things that are going to be happening, as well as like, what's the most self-loving thing that you can do to practice that, right? So a lot of love and newness. I think those are the major themes that I see here. So I hope the reading was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment here. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to share it with your friend. But best of luck with your decision making. I know that decisions can be extremely difficult to make, especially because we don't have, you know, we can't really see the future. So I hope this was helpful guidance for you. And again, best of luck to you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hello group 2, welcome to this reading. So today we're going to be thinking about what we can do to help you with your decision making. Is it a yes or a no? Let's find out from these cards. Is it a yes or no for group 2? Yes or no? Yes or no for group 2? Is it a yes or no for group 2? Yes, yes or no? Yes or no for group 2? Is it a yes or no for group 2? Okay. So now, just based on the energy that I had from these cards, I want you to really think about your question right now. The question that you clicked this video with. The reason that you're watching this video. I want you to think about the question deeply. And based on these energies, I'm going to say that the answer is no. Now, when I said the word no, how did you feel? Did you feel like your heart was sinking? Did you feel really excited that the answer is no? Or did you feel sad and disappointed that the answer is no? Because the deep wisdom within you, there is already a lot of guidance that's coming from within you. And I think that that little voice that already knows the answer is a lot more important and accurate than anything that these cards will say, okay? So I want you to really kind of meditate on your question, maybe go really deep within yourself and look for the answer, okay? Is it a yes or a no? I think the wise self of you already knows the answer. Maybe you don't, but there is a possibility that you already know the answer, okay? So think about that as you watch this video, and let's see what kind of guidance the universe has for you here. Okay, so let's see. Let's open up this part first. Energy tower. Okay, we have wands. We have 9 of wands. Not wands. We have 4 of wands as well. Okay, and 5 of cups, which is a no. We have a lot of 5 wands. Tempest. Okay, Pentacles. Moon. Okay, King of Queen of Cups. 9. And that's a yes. Okay, so just based on the cards here that we have, I do think that if I were in your shoes, I would lean a little bit more towards yes. Just because I do think the path forward for no is a little bit more intense and a little bit more potentially disappointing. Okay, so we have the 5 of Cups, which is a little bit disappointing. It does mean, a little bit of hopelessness. Doesn't mean that, everything is gone. There are actually 3 cups that are standing behind you if you look closely. However, I do think the immediate thing that you're going to see is that a little bit of disappointment. We also have the Tower card and the Chariot card. So I think when these cards come out together, I feel a lot of intensity. You're going really strong, really fast, and then that leads to a Tower moment, or where everything is falling apart, or the speed at which everything kind of falls apart is the speed of the Chariot, which is very fast. So I think the path forward with no could be a little challenging. Okay. We also have King of Wands, which is, again, it's a lot of movement, a lot of initiation, a lot of action that's happening. The 4 of Wands is obviously very positive. It's about welcoming you. It's a new thing, which is great. But other than that, I do see a lot of cards that I wouldn't want on my path forward also, because 9 of Wands is also a little bit of defensiveness. You're maybe kind of trying to protect your own boundary. And then the 5 of Cups is a little bit losing hope in a sense. So I do think that even though we do see some positive aspects to this as well, overall, this may not be the most ideal decision that you could make, just in terms of how challenging it is and, what kind of emotions you may feel during this. But on the other hand, if we look at 5 of Wands here, pretty playful here. We have Temperance, so there's a little bit of moderation that's happening. You are sort of growing your strength. You're being, we have the Pentacles here. Knight of Pentacles, also the Moon energy. And then we have 9 of Pentacles, which is a lot of like wealth. So saying yes to this could potentially lead to like better wealth, more wealth, if your question is about like something that has to do with wealth. And then we have the Queen of Cups, which is you know, it means that you are, you know, somebody who will maybe be in a more stable state in terms of your emotions. You have better control of your emotions, you're happier. So I think overall I do like the cards on the yes side for sure. Just comparing these two doesn't necessarily mean that I, you know, I'm saying that you should choose yes, but you know, especially in the short term, I do think that yes is an easier way forward. Now, tarot cards, I'm not really using this to like predict the entire future, right? So there is a possibility that after this is over, you know, the path changes, and maybe this becomes, you know, maybe this was really great that the Tower moment happened, you know, with the Chariot speed, because you wanted something to come down and you wanted to sort of have things crumble so that you could start from the rock bottom and then move forward, right? There is definitely a possibility of that, okay? And there's a possibility that even though this is like a good choice in the short term, it does, you know, maybe there's a bit of like loneliness or darkness that comes as well, right? Who knows? So I don't want you to like think that this is everything, but I think especially if you're like looking in the short term, yes does seem to be a bit of an easier path forward. So I want you to reflect on how you feel hearing that. Does it feel exciting that you got, you know, more guidance on yes, or does it feel disappointing? Are you upset that, you know, that's how it turned out? Because your inner voice is going to be a lot more accurate, right? This video is being watched by multiple people and your inner voice is there for you only. It's the audience is just you, right? One person. So whatever, you know, this means to you, just focus on the feelings that come up, okay? And I want you to really listen to the voice. You can even turn off the video right now if you think that's the right thing to do, because your inner voice is saying yes or no, right? So really listen to that. But if you want a little bit more guidance, I have a couple more cards that I can go over now. A couple more oracle cards. Let's see what kind of guidance that the universe has now in terms of making the decision. If you still want more clarity, let's see what kind of decisions or what kind of guidance the universe has for you for group 2. Is it a yes or no? What's the guidance that the universe has for you? Patience, communication, compassion. Okay, so we have 2, 33, 99, a lot of angel numbers here coming up, which I think is always a good sign. It means, you know, that angels are there to protect you. Your team of angels, your higher power, the universe is here for you and they're with you as you make this decision. Patience, I think, is a really interesting card. Maybe you won't get clarity around this decision extremely quickly. It means that you have to be really patient when it comes to just navigating the confusion and navigating the uncertainty that may be in front of you, okay? So I think patience is really important. Communication, I think, is important. I mean, obviously, communication matters in every situation, but if this question was about a relationship, a friendship, you know, or just your you know, your relationship with your partner or maybe with your family or friends, whatever, communication might be the key to sort of like solving whatever conflict may exist there, right? Or if it's like at work, maybe communication is also another thing that can be used to sort of better the situation. So communication is another word, and compassion I think is really important. Compassion might be towards yourself. So you want, the universe wants you to be compassionate towards yourself as you make this decision. You know, do you want to experience the Tower moment? Do you want the Chariot energy, the speed, you know, or do you want, you know, something better? Or maybe this is the path forward that doesn't allow you to practice compassion. Maybe this is like greed, right? Who knows, right? Whatever this word means to you as you make this decision, I think that's exactly what it is. So I want you to practice compassion, not just for yourself, but also for others. As you make this decision, think about what kind of consequences your decision could have on yourself, your community, your relationships, and things like that. I think those are all really important guidelines or guidance that the universe is trying to communicate to you. Let's see what other things we have here. The answers you need are coming. Be bold and make the first move. Okay, so I think those are really good pieces and very relevant pieces of guidance here. The answers you need are coming. So it means that the period of time that you're going to experience a lot of confusion and uncertainty is not going to last long. The answers you need are coming. So maybe you already got the answer from watching this video, or maybe if you're even more confused, there will be something that happens that gives you more clarity and allows you to sort of make the best decision forward, okay? And be bold and make the first move. Maybe you're like, one of your questions is like, okay, should I really have I have a crush on this person. Should I talk to them? Should I like not do that? Obviously the answer is you probably should, but it's asking, or maybe like doing no is like being bold and making the first move, right? Because maybe your question was like, can I just like be by myself? Can I just like, be passive? And the answer is no, you have to like do something, right? So whatever the decision you're leaning towards, it requires that you be brave, right? So whenever there's uncertainty and confusion and like not knowing what to do, a lot of times it's because we have a lot of like fears, right? We have a lot of like anxieties about what the consequences of that decision will be, etc. And the universe is asking you to be bold. Make the first move. You got this. Whether it's a no or yes, you have it in you to make the best outcome and make the best decision for yourself and for others. Okay, so the universe wants you to be brave. Okay. And finally, let's look at a couple of tea leaves cards to see if you're still looking for more clarity, these might be useful. Some of them might not be relevant for you, but let's see what kind of more guidance that the universe has for you in terms of the tea leaves here. Additional guidance for group 2. We have the bag. Okay. We have teardrops. And then we have staff. Okay. So the bag, it's I think this is like a money bag here, something important such as a new job or a raise. So if your question was about a career or work, I think this is a really good sign. Something good is coming. You might like leave your current job and literally start something new. Do something that allows you to practice more compassion. Maybe you're trying to do more work that's like better for the world, or within your new job or within your current job, you might get a raise. You might be recognized. You might be able to improve your communication skills, and you might be really seeing good consequences as a follow-up for that. This one, teardrops, great personal sorrow. So there is a possibility that some of you guys will choose a path and it won't be an extremely easy one, right? For each side, I think we did see a couple of cards that may not be super ideal. For example, for here, we had the moon, which could be like a little bit of like loneliness, darkness energy. And for this, we have the tower. As I said again and again, we have like the 9 of Wands. So there is a possibility. I don't think this applies to everyone though, but I think there is a possibility that you will, experience a little bit of difficulty on your path forward. And, just being confused and like not knowing whether it's a yes or no is itself, I think, great sorrow. Like for me personally, when I'm like really struggling with like yes or no, it's like it's really stressful. Like I wish I knew the answer. I wish somebody made the decision for me, because it's like so confusing and I'm so scared of all the consequences that can happen. I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm in a limbo. It's like one of the worst feelings that I experience is like when I don't know exactly, what to do. But I do think this is a good sign because it says you will be taken care of in difficult times. And also another thing for you to remember is that time reveals everything. Right? Time does its job. Things do get decided whether you want it or not in the right timing. So the fact that you're struggling right now with this decision could just mean that this is not the right timing right now, right? So I don't want you to beat yourself up for this. You will be taken care of in the difficult times, and the answers you need are coming. Okay, so this period of uncertainty and, you know, feeling like stuck will not really last forever. I also got another card that says new job or career. So again, very, very consistent messages. Maybe some of you guys are asking about your career or work. A new job. I've never gotten two tea leaves that literally say the same thing. It says a new job, new career. So this could be a really good time, especially if you're looking for something else to do, just in terms of like you want to maybe completely switch your career, do something completely different. It requires a lot of courage, but you got to be bold, right? You got to actually have a little bit of chariot energy to really make the first move and move forward. So that's all the messages I have for you. I hope this was helpful. Again, I want you to really pay attention to your inner voice. It's going to be a lot more accurate, a lot more personal for you. And I think the deep, the wise self within you already know the answer. So I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, leave a comment, share with your friend, subscribe, and I look forward to talking to you guys again really soon. Thank you. Bye. Hello, group 3. Welcome to this reading. Let's see what kind of guidance the universe has for you in terms of yes or no for the decision that you're trying to make. I'm sorry that you are, you know, potentially dealing with something that's very difficult to think about, or like you feel very uncertain about this. I've definitely experienced a lot of that in my life, and I'm really hoping that this reading will give you some of the guidance that you need right now as you try to make your decision. Okay, so is it a yes or a no for group 3? Is it a yes or a no? Yes or no for group 3? Now, I want you to really focus and think about the question that brought you here, okay? What's the question that you're trying to figure out the answer to, okay? I want you to think about that question right now and just like focus on that question right now as you look at these cards, okay? And, you know, just based on these, the energy that I felt while I was picking the cards, your answer is a yes. Now, when I said that out loud, how did you feel? Did you feel excited that the answer is yes? Or did you feel disappointed? Did you feel your heart sinking? Or did you feel like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I needed to hear? Because I do think that the inner voice that you have, the inner wisdom within you is extremely accurate. And I think whenever I'm struggling to go either way, one of the things that I really like to do is to sort of meditate and reflect on that question and just be really quiet and listen to the voice within myself, because they usually have the right answer. I think there is a possibility, maybe not all of you, but there's a possibility that the wise version of you, the higher self of yourself, of you, already knows the answer. Okay, so think about the emotions that came up when I said that the answer is yes. Okay, was it excitement? Was it sadness, disappointment? Were you really thrilled? I want you to focus on those feelings as you watch this, and you could even literally turn off the video if that made everything clear. Okay, so those, you know, this video is being watched by multiple people. Your inner voice is there just for you. So it's an audience of one, which is going to be forever more accurate, right? So I want you to think about those feelings and focus on them, okay, throughout the reading. But let's see what kind of more guidance the universe has for you, especially if you still need more clarity after that little exercise. Let's see what we have here. Six of Swords. Okay, for new. Wands, the Empress, Queen of Swords, okay, Pirates, Ten of Wands, okay, and the Three of Swords for a yes. Okay, so I think each group or each answer has a very different story going on here. So I like to read it the cards from bottom to up, okay, and it's really interesting. I see a lot of like high-powered figures for yes. It could be referring to you, or it could be like different authorities that exist within your life, whether it's like your boss, your parents, even a partner that you, maybe somebody's older than you, whatever it is. I think there's a lot of like, I see like 4 figures that are like strong, powerful figures. We have the Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, the Empress, and Hierophant. So I don't know, I think that could be some kind of confirmation for you that this is the right reading for you. If that resonates with you, there are a lot of like people involved with going yes, whether it's like yourself, it doesn't seem to involve just you potentially, or maybe you are somebody who's embodying all of these things, but it's like a lot of authority, a lot of power, a lot of movement, a lot of action, a lot of just energy that is here. But what I feel a little concerned about is the Ten of Wands card, which means that it could be a little overwhelming. This yes decision could be burdensome, it could be heavy, it could require a lot of energy, right? These cards are a lot of power, a lot of energy, and maybe you feel really, you know, intimidated by it, you feel tired from it, you feel like maybe this is beyond what you can handle, or this is just not the right like suit that I'm supposed to wear. This is not the uniform that I chose to wear, right? Or this is just, you know, I want to be with somebody who is like this, but now I'm realizing that this is actually a lot of energy. So that's kind of interesting, I think. And then Three of Swords is, you know, it's a little bit of sadness, right? I think these two cards are very similar. It's a little bit burdensome, it's a little bit heavy, and it causes a little bit of distress, I think, because of how powerful these cards are. So maybe the power lies within you. You are somebody who's a very strong-willed, maybe, you know, like you like to push things, you like to really move things beyond, and you know, really try like 120%, and you like to just push things. You're maybe a little intense, right? And maybe because you said yes to it, a lot of these things happen and you feel really tired. You feel really like, wow, like I'm burned out, right? Because of all this high power stuff that I had to do, I'm burned out, right? Or maybe it could be like, yes, you are here, and before you get here, you have to say yes to like taking a break or like a breakup or something like that, so you don't experience something like that, right? So I think yes could be interpreted in multiple ways, but this is a lot of power. I don't know if I've ever like pulled cards where like I see four powerful figures come up like this, and then, you know, they get paired with like this, like, wow, this is heavy, I feel hurt, like I'm tired, I'm burned out kind of an energy. So yes could be, you know, that you have to say yes in order to avoid this, or it could also be, you know, whatever question how you worded it, right? I think the question here is that you want to avoid being here, right? Based on all the intensity that's happening here, okay? So that's the guidance that I'm getting here. For no, we have the Strength card, we have the Fool. So fools can be really strong because they don't really know what they're doing a lot of the times. We also have the Justice power card here. Six of Swords, King of Swords. A lot of like swords, intelligence, good words, and then we also have the Wheel of Fortune here. So the Wheel of Fortune is always, I think, I see it as a pretty positive sign. It means that things are gonna turn around, maybe especially when you had this Six of Swords energy that was happening. There is going to be a little bit of Wheel of Fortune, so you maybe come back to a place that you felt really safe, or you kind of restore something that you were missing. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think the King of Swords energy and the Justice, they both have really long swords that they're holding. But also the Fool energy, you know, it's like a little bit sad here. There's, I think, like maybe you were, you know, starting something new, and then you were really powerful, but it led to a little bit of like Six of Swords energy. And now you're trying to turn it around. So you're not trying to say no, so you can move past it. So it's definitely a lot of swords here that are that I see. I know this is a Justice card, but I see it as almost like an extension of the Swords family, just because of how prominent the swords are. So I think there's a possibility that you started something new and you were, you know, going really strong, and it maybe led to something that was difficult. It led to some difficulties. Maybe you were disappointed, you felt hurt, maybe there were words that were said that were bringing you down. And whatever it is, saying no could mean that there is going to be a little bit of Wheel of Fortune moment where things change and things get better. Or maybe it's saying that you should say no so that things can change, right? Or only saying no will lead to the Wheel of Fortune energy. So I think that in that sense, I'm not getting an extremely clear answer as to what the answer is for either yes or no. It really depends on what kind of question you are asking. But just based on the cards that I see, I do think that I would lean towards a no, just because I really love the conclusion card that we have up here, which is the Wheel of Fortune, which I always see is like as a really good card for just changing, like change of the tides, like things are gonna get really better, things are turning around, it's a new chapter. So maybe saying no could indicate that for you. Okay, so let's see what kind of guidance you have, especially if you don't have a lot of clarity after this. Which I think I'm, a little confused about this reading. Sometimes I don't get like a super clear answer, and that could also be really related to how confusing the situation is. Maybe you feel really torn between the two. You see maybe pros and cons of both. So let's see what kind of more guidance that we have here, and that could be really helpful for interpreting these cards here. Okay. All right. Believe in the impossible. Adjustments are required. Show the world the real you. Okay. So is it a yes or a no that requires you to make adjustments? Maybe you are asking, should I do something different? Right? Then the answer could be yes. But maybe if you're asking, should I just stay? Then the answer could be no, because it's saying adjustments are required. So I think that the Wheel of Fortune energy, I think I can definitely see here. Adjustments are coming, they are required. So I think there will be a bit of a change in your life, whether it's in work, relationships, family, friends, career, whatever it is, right? Health, wealth. There are some adjustments that are required and that will be happening. And maybe it requires that you be vulnerable, whatever that means for you. And believing in the impossible. So again, I think the Wheel of Fortune energy does pretty, it does coincide pretty nicely here. Or maybe believing in the impossible means that you are finally letting go of these strong figures, whether it's within yourself or within your life, saying yes so that you can prevent these things. Or you're just believing in the impossible. Maybe you're like somebody who's trying to leave, I don't know, like the funny image that came to my mind is like, you are like part of a cult and you're trying to believe in the impossible, which is like saying that you're able to leave it, right? Something like that. So believing in the impossible, knowing that even if these adjustments feel really impossible, they're really difficult, you have to believe in them so that you can move forward, whether it's a no or a yes. So I think it's really saying that you really need a little bit of courage here. Be a fool, right? Fools believe in the impossible because they don't really know a lot, right? Being a fool is really important and really helpful, especially when we are faced with really difficult decisions. And fools have a lot of strength, right? Because they believe in the impossible. They don't really know better. So sometimes it's really helpful for you to sort of let go of all the things that you've learned in the past, like recent past, right? And kind of go back to your child self, like the inner child within you. They are, a fool in a really good sense. They don't know better. They are brave. They're able to push themselves to, against, and beyond the limits because they're strong. Their lack of knowledge, lack of experience, right, makes them really strong, and they are able to believe in the impossible because of that. Let's see what other guidance that the universe has for you for this reading. Music, relationship change. So for those of you guys who are asking about a relationship, I think there is a possibility that it'll change, whether it's starting a new one, ending the current one, or a bad relationship getting better. Whatever it is, I think there is a possibility of that changing. If you're asking about work, there's also work relationship that could change, whether you get a new boss, your boss is or you have like new coworkers, whatever it means. So I think there's going to be a little bit of like Wheel of Fortune maybe when it comes to the people in your life. And I think whenever I see the music card, I'm reminded of like just harmony, right? Just like trying to make sure that you sort of try to harmonize with the people, especially when things change, right? Whether it's like getting better, or like you just get new people or a new person in your life, letting go of somebody in your life, whatever it is. I think the process requires that you have a lot of compassion, and try to harmonize with them. Okay, so I hope that was useful. I do have final cards though that I want to pull. Let's see, what kind of, especially if you are still confused and you want more guidance and clarity from the universe, let's see what kind of tea leaves that we have that could be helpful here. Gong and casket. An exciting event, work, achievement, success, someone going out of your life, or the end of a situation. So this one I think is really significant here. So this one, obviously, it's work, achievement, success. So, you know, a relationship change, or you being a fool, right? Being strong could mean that you're going to be successful as a result, right? You're going to achieve something really great because you're strong, you're a fool. That'll lead to a lot of the Wheel of Fortune energy, which is great. And it's going to be an exciting event, and you're going to be really happy with the final decision that you make and all the consequences that happen as a result of it, which I think is always a good sign. It's going to be an exciting event. It may not feel extremely exciting in the moment because change is always difficult, but I do see that there's a lot of adjustments that are happening. It's an exciting event. There's a turn of the tides. Things are going to change really in the near future, and someone is going out of your life, or it's the end of a situation. It could even, you know, be interpreted as like someone going out of your life as like maybe your ego is like going out of your life. Your ego is going to change, you know, as a result of this change, or as a result of this decision. It could also be the end of a situation. So some of you may have asked, should I stay with this person or not? And maybe your partner was somebody who had a lot of power in the relationship dynamic, and you know, you are going to leave it so that you can avoid this like sadness. And it's a good thing. It's an exciting event that someone is going out of your life, right? So that could be interpreted that way as well. But it could also be, I'm seeing some like relationship change, someone going out of your life, right? It could be end of a situation. When it says end of a situation, I think that could also be interpreted as like, maybe you were like having a crush on somebody and you are really like torn, like I want to move this forward. So it's the end of the situationship, right? Or the end of a situation, just in terms of like you being really confused and torn about whether this should go forward or not. So I think that's all the messages that I have. Best of luck to you as you make your decision. I do think that this reading was a little bit more chaotic than I expected, and especially compared to the other readings. And I think that probably reflects that you guys are going through something that is really chaotic or really difficult to interpret in a sense. So I do wish you best of luck. Listen to your inner voice. They usually know the answer, and I hope that this was helpful for you. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and I look forward to chatting with you again in the future. Thank you. Hello there, group 4. Welcome to this reading. We are going to be thinking about how you can make your decisions moving forward. Is it a yes or a no? Is it a yes or no for group 4? Let's see what kind of guidance we have here. I want you to really focus on the question that brought you here. The question that you have as you're watching this video. Is it a yes or is it a no? Let's see what we have here. Is it a yes or a no for group 4? Yes or no? Yes or group 4? Yes or 4? Yes, group 4. So now I want you to think about the question that brought you here. Okay, just think about it. Focus on your question. And based on the energy that I felt while I was picking these cards, I think your answer is no. Now, how does that make you feel? I actually did this 4 times already, so maybe some of you guys are watching all readings and it's like really redundant, but I want you to reflect on the feelings that came up for you when I said that the answer is no. Did you feel excited? Did you feel sad and disappointed that the answer is no? Because I think that there's a very, very wise inner child, or, you know, an inner voice, actually, not an inner child, there's a very wise person within you that actually may know the answer already. Not all of you may know the answer right now, but some of you guys already know. So if I said no and then you felt really sad, I think that is a really good sign that the answer actually is yes. But if I said no and you felt really excited about it, there's a really high possibility that the answer is no, and you already know it deep within yourself. Okay, so I want you to really focus on that inner voice, because this video is being watched by multiple people. Your inner voice has an audience of one, which is just you, and it's going to be a lot more accurate, and you're going to be able to really get a lot more out of that, listening to the inner voice. Sometimes when I'm really torn apart, I try to meditate on the question, and then I'm just quiet for a couple minutes as I meditate on it. And then sometimes I just get the clarity that I have been looking for. I can just connect with that wise voice within myself. So I want you to focus on that. You can even turn off the video now if you've got clarity from that exercise. And just know that that's a really important voice, and it's a really important clue for you as you try to answer yes or no for this question, okay? So now let's see what other guidance the universe has for you, especially for those of you who need more and are still confused, which is totally possible. Okay, so yes or no for group 4. Let's see what we have here. Yes. Okay. So I think, without going into too much detail, if I were in your shoes and if I just pull these two cards together, I do think that I'm going to probably go for a yes. Just because I think the cards are a little bit more positive and a little bit easier path forward compared to what we have here for no. So I think, so I like to read the cards in a chronological order, starting from the bottom and then going up. And then once you go no, I think the start may not be bad, right? So, you have the star energy, which is great. You have 4 of Pentacles. That's not bad. Maybe you feel a little defensive. You feel a little holding on to your stuff, whatever that means, whether your question is about relationships, work. And then we have Ace of Swords, which is great. But I think, it does lead to a 7 of Wands energy, which is a little bit of fighting and struggling, and you're trying to fight something. And then we have Judgment, and then it ends up being 9 of Swords, which is a little bit of difficulties and suffering that happens. So it's I feel it starts out good, and then it kind of turns a little bit bad, especially in the short term. I'm not using the tarot cards to read the entire life, right, or the entire future, but in the short term at least, I think no can lead to a little bit of difficulties and challenges. However, on the other side, on the yes, we start out maybe a little lonely. It's a little bit of Hanged Man energy, self-reflection. We have a little bit of 5 of Swords energy here. So it could be a little bit of sneakiness that's happening. And then you get to maybe decide, okay, should I go yes or no? Maybe this is you currently that's deciding, should I go yes or no? And then we have 3 of Cups, which is collaboration and a lot of doing things together. And then we have the World card, which is the final card of the major arcana, and it usually means that things are good. It's complete. Everything was complete. Everything happened as it was supposed to. And it leads to 6 of Pentacles, which means generosity and donations and charities. And it's you have so much love within you that you're it's overflowing. You're giving it to other people, right? Whether it could be interpreted differently in work questions, career, health, wealth, love, whatever it is. But I do think that just in terms of the progression, yes is definitely the answer that I'm leaning towards, especially if I were in your shoes and I have to make the decision. I think I will say yes. So yeah, I think overall yes does seem to have a more positive outlook compared to no, which kind of starts out pretty good, but then it kind of goes down, and then the yes maybe starts out a little weird, but then it couldn't be more positive, honestly, with the three cards that are on top. So I do think that overall, whatever your question is, I think the universe is saying that you should go for it. Okay, so let's see what kind of other guidance that the universe has for you, especially if this needs more clarification. What kind of guidance does the universe have for group 4 in terms of yes or no? Yes or no, yes or no. For group 4, love, environment, nature. Interesting. Nature and environment, I'm gonna honestly put these together because I thought of nature when I heard the word environment. So maybe you're an environmental scientist. I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe you are, but I don't really assume that. We also, the numbers here, we have 6, 44, 74. 44 is an angel number, which is always a good thing. But I do think that maybe the decision-making process will become easier if you sort of like expose yourself to the green. I mean, the cards themselves are green too, which I think is really cute, but whether you go like hiking or go to a river or go to the ocean, whatever it is, right? I mean, it's also like getting warmer, I think, now that we're in March here right now as I'm recording this. So I think just like reconnecting with nature will be really helpful. You know, it could be directly related to your question, but I think for most of you, it probably means like it's going to help you just regulate your emotions better as you navigate the uncertainty and the difficulties that may be coming up as you make this decision. So I think showing love and receiving love from nature and the environment, I think, is like just a piece, you know, really good piece of guidance and advice that the universe has for you right now. So, you know, I feel like the decision is going to be a little bit easier maybe than other people. Group 3, I think, was a little more intense. It's a little more confusing. So I feel like group 4, it might be a little bit of a better process. And, you know, I think the universe wants you to protect yourself and take care of yourself as you navigate the uncertainties here. Let's see what kind of other cards we have here. Guidance for group 4. Let's see. Don't let pride get in your way. Prosperity lies ahead, and surrender to the divine. Yeah, surrendering to the divine, I kind of just like see nature as God sometimes. Nature is divine. I mean, there can't be anything really more divine than nature itself, I feel like, a lot of the time. So again, I think surrendering to the divine, surrendering to nature, sort of like connecting with nature, I think will, you know, probably something that gives you even more clarity. Maybe you go for a nice little walk in the woods, and that's how you arrive at your answer, right? So I think that's like just consistent messaging that I'm getting. Prosperity lies ahead, whatever this means. Congrats. I love this card because if your question was about work, career, wealth, I think this is a pretty clear sign that whatever decision you make, you will be experiencing a lot more wealth and a lot of money. So that's, you know, congrats on that. Maybe you're getting into a relationship, and maybe that partner, you know, with you, you know, together, you guys are going to bring a lot of wealth in together, right? That could be a really good thing too. Don't let pride get in your way. I think this card, you know, is important. Maybe as you make your decisions, just kind of check to see if your ego is saying something that your heart doesn't really want to listen to. Maybe your ego is like, as you're making the decision, practice love, right? And love just means not just self-love, but also like love of others, right? Love of people in your life, love for the community, love for the world, maybe love for literally everything, right? And when you focus on that, I think it's much easier to let go of your pride. Are you making your decisions because you want to boost your ego? Are you trying to just like, you know, feel better about yourself by making this decision? Or are you trying to do something that is good for the world, or that is good for the other people, or even good for you long term, right? Even if, because sometimes I think that our ego and our pride can interfere with the things that are actually really good for us. So I think those are some things that you should think about as you make your decisions. Now, if that is still not super clear, let's see what kind of tea leaves we have here that can give you even more guidance. Guidance for group 4 in terms of yes or no. Guidance for group 4. Guidance for group 4. Okay. Fan, romance, celebration, party, bridge, successfully overcoming a problem, spear, heartache over what you no longer have. Okay. So I think there's a possibility that the questions that you were asking about whether you should make some kind of a change or not. And, you know, I think there could be, you know, a little bit of sadness that comes with even going with yes, because even if it's a good thing long term, maybe you feel a little bit of sadness over what you don't have anymore. Maybe you have to let go of something, right? The worm got severed here, right? So you had to let go, and that could be sad. It could be not an easy thing to do. However, or maybe, you know, you are going to be experiencing no, you're going to go with no, and then this is like implying that you will be experiencing a little heartache over what you no longer have, but it's actually a good thing, right? Or like good thing long term, but in the short term you could be experiencing a little bit of like sorrow as a result of that. But I do think that these are both really good signs. So the fan says romance, celebration, party. So if your question was about like a romance, I think this is a really good sign. It's gonna be celebratory, it's gonna be a party. I think things are gonna be looking up really good, and things are gonna unfold really nicely for, you know, you, especially if you were asking about romance. But even if it's not romance, if it's like work related, wealth, money, successfully overcoming a problem can really, you know, apply to everything really. But I think this, you know, is a really nice card here, successfully overcoming a problem. The problem could be referring to you, you know, just navigating this uncertainty and then being not sure exactly where to go. And I think this card is saying that you will have clarity. Maybe you got clarity from watching this video, or maybe you will have clarity, you know, in the near future. Whatever it is, you will be successfully overcoming this problem, and things are all going to work out really nicely. So I think these are all really good cards. The universe wants you to, you know, let go of your pride, let go of your ego, connect with nature, and just know, trust the divine timing. Things will work out all good, and you will be in a really good place. The world is with you. So I hope this was a helpful reading for you. Best of luck as you make your decision. Listen to your inner voice. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it, leave a comment, subscribe, and I look forward to chatting with you again very soon. Thank you. Bye.